Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. So friends, I am here to summarize another beautiful and amazing book. And the book name is Combined Avatar First in Jambudesh and Imagination. And the author name is Mr. Sudhir Srivastav. So let's get started. The Combined Avatar First in Jambudesh and Imagination by Mr. Sudhir Srivastav is a mythological tale that revolves around the mythical land of Jambudesh, where inhabitants from various divine realms converge. The story chronicles the conflicts and alliances between these realms, centered on the avatars of Lord Vishnu who work to establish harmony and justice. The narrative explores themes of power, betrayal, and unity, weaving together traditional Indian mythology with imaginative storytelling. The book culminates in the unification of cultural and social structures, creating a harmonized civilization in Jambudesh. It's a blend of psychological insights and mythical lore. Before we head towards book summary, we would love to introduce our author. So, Mr. Sudhir Srivastav, age 69 years, education qualification post-graduation in science, IS retired, worked as secretary to Governor of Bihar, Patna. He is imaginative since early stage of his life when he lives with his mother who was a religious lady in her deed. His father was professor who gave his children freedom to read and learn in addition to their classroom studies. His interest in mythology began in young age when his mother narrated stories of epic and he began to imagine secret behind every development found in stories. In the Combined Avatar First in Jambudesh and Imagination by Mr. Sudhir Srivastav, the story begins by setting the stage in the mythical land of Jambudesh, initially ruled by Asuras king Bali under the counsel of Lord Vishnu. The narrative describes the geopolitical and mythological landscape that include realms such as Akash, Patal and Mrityulok, introducing a complex tapestry of divine and demonic influences. As the story progresses, Lord Parshuram's mission attempts to cleanse the region of evil, inadvertently creating a power void in northern Jambudesh. This void is quickly filled by the societies from Vishnulok and Brahmalok, reshaping the societal structures and leading to the rise of different communities, each influenced by the mythological wars and alliances. The narrative shifts focus to the south of Jambudesh, where local inhabitants seized control from the weakened Asuras Daitya's empire, particularly focusing on the stage of Kishkinda, governed by the Vanar community. This part of the story delves into the social transformation and governance challenges faced amidst the shifting cultures. In the strategic shift of power, the island of Lanka becomes a focal point, signaling a significant administrative and power restructure. This leads to a conspiracy by the Daityas Asuras who attempt to reclaim control over Lanka by planting their offspring within the Rishikul, illustrating the deep-seated familial and political intrigues that seek to manipulate power dynamics in the favor. In the Combined Avatar First in Jambudesh and Imagination, the narrative continues as Ravan and his siblings, armed with their divine blessings and driven by a legacy of power, return to their homeland to assert influence. After their strategic maneuvers meet with limited success in the peninsula, Ravan strategically returns to their father Rishi Varsava's ashram. Under their father's guidance, they plan to solidify their presence in Lanka, the center of significant trade and power dynamic initially controlled by their stepbrother Kuber. As the story unfolds, Ravan leverages his familial and divine connections to maneuver politically. He identifies the vulnerabilities in Kuber's rule, who is distracted by his duties as the treasurer of Devlok and unable to manage Lanka effectively. With Ravana's rise to power, he begins restructuring the governance of Lanka. He appoints his siblings to key positions, with Vibhishan in a significant role due to his inclination towards his loyalty to Lord Vishnu. Ravana's governance strategy involves not only administrative control but also a deeper conspiracy to implant their lineage securely within the ruling elite, aligning with the broader aspiration of the Daityas Asuras to re-establish their domain. This section of the book delves deeply into the complex interplay of familial loyalty, divine manipulation, and the relentless pursuit of power. Ravana's ascent is depicted as a mix of strategic brilliance, opportunistic alliance, and the calculated use of supernatural blessings, setting the stage for future conflicts and the overarching them to divine intervention in the mortal realm. The narrative waves through these themes, exploring the implications of power and the nature of legitimacy within the mythological context of Jambudesh. Ravan solidifies his rule over Lanka. The narrative in this book shifts to more intense themes of conflict, conquest, and the spiritual missions of the protagonists. With Ravan in power, the dynamics in Jambudesh undergo significant transformations. Ravan starts to expand his influence beyond Lanka, aiming to consolidate a vast empire that rivals the ancient territories ruled by the Asuras. His ambitions are supported by his divine power and the strategic use of his family members in key positions, reflecting a complex governance structure that spans both celestial and terrestrial realms. Meanwhile, Vibhishan, driven by his devotion to Lord Vishnu and a stark contrast in ideology to Ravan, undertakes a spiritual journey that brings him closer to the divine. His actions begin to set the stage for divine intervention as he seeks blessings to counterbalance Ravana's growing temporal power, which is increasingly seen as a threat to the cosmic order. As Ravan extends his reach, the neighboring regions begin to feel the pressure of his expansionist policies. This leads to various conflicts with other kingdoms and celestial realms, prompting alliances and enmities that are deeply influenced by past betrayals and historical grievance. The narrative waves through these conflicts, detailing epic battles, strategic marriages, and the forging of alliances that reshape the political landscape of Jambudesh. Amidst these terrestrial conflicts, the divine realm is also in turmoil. The gods led by Lord Vishnu are increasingly concerned about the balance of power and the potential consequences of Ravana's rule. This concern culminates a plotting of a new avatar, a divine intervention meticulously planned to restore balance and ensure that the moral and spiritual order is maintained. As Ravan continues to push his boundaries, his actions begin to set the stage for the prophesied divine interventions. This rule, while effective, strike unrest among the gods and among certain segments of his subjects who are disillusioned with the tyrannical method. This unrest is captured through various narratives arcs that explore themes of justice, righteousness, and the external battle between good and evil. The story reaches a turning point as divine forces begin to converge, setting up a climatic battle that promises to redefine the future of Jambudesh and its inhabitants. This convergence of the mortal and divine, characterized by a series of pivotal events, lays the groundwork for a dramatic resolution to the conflicts set forth in the earlier chapters. The plot thickens with the introduction of divine interventions and a deepening of the celestial conflicts that reach their zenith. Ravana's ambition leads him to near immortality, having secured powerful blessings that nearly make him invincible. However, the celestial balance is increasingly disturbed by his actions, compelling the gods, particularly Lord Vishnu, to take more direct actions. The divine schemes focus on crafting a plan that would see the advent of a new avatar, specifically redesigned to counter Ravana's tyranny and restore harmony. This period is marked by a series of escalating conflicts involving Ravana's forces clashing with those of other celestial and mortal realms. Each battle is not only a display of might but also a test of moral and ethical values, reflecting the deep rooted Vedic themes of drama. Vedic themes of dharma and adharma. These conflicts are not just physical but also involve significant psychological and spiritual warfare. As Ravan extended his control, a significant portion of the narrative details the preparation for the arrival of Lord Vishnu's avatar. This preparation involves celestial blessings and sages, and it intertwines with various subplots involving key mythological figures. Each character's story adds layer of the impending climax, enriching the tapestry of the narrative with their personal quest and divine mandates. The gods, particularly Lord Vishnu, work through their devotees on earth to set the stage for the avatar. This involves intricate planning and the mobilization of resources across different realms. The preparation is meticulous, involving the signification of the avatar's lineage and ensuring that the earthly realm is primed for divine intervention. Meanwhile, Ravana's rule, while marked by prosperity in some areas, also sees dissent and unrest due to his despotic tendencies. This unrest is not limited to the human or mortal realm but also affects his own kin and allies, some of whom began to question his motives and methods. This internal dissent plays a crucial role in subtly undermining Ravana's position, making it more susceptible to the impacts of divine intervention. As the setup for the divine avatar concludes, the stage is set for a grand confrontation. This confrontation is not merely a battle but a pivotal event meant to restore the cosmic order and address the spiritual disorder shown by Ravana's rule. The narrative builds up to this event with dramatic tension, intertwining the fates of the mortal and immortal and setting the scene for a profound resolution that aims to transit the immediate conflict and address the underlying spiritual and ethical crisis. These battles are not just fighting for territory but represent the struggle between right and wrong, justice and oppression. The story rounds off this segment by setting the stage for a final epic battle, where all the forces of good align behind the avatar, ready to take on Ravan and his dwindling circle of supporters in a decisive showdown that promises to reshape the future of Jambudesh and restore the cosmic order. The narrative intensifies with the ultimate battle looming between the divine avatar and Ravan. The confrontation is not only a clash of arms but also a pivotal moment for cosmic justice and mortal order. The divine avatar, supported by a coalition of forces that represent the unified will of the oppressed and righteous, marches towards Lanka. This march is marked by several smaller battles, where the avatar's side steadily undermines Ravana's defenses, showcase not only their military might but also their superior mortal vision. The avatar himself is portrayed as a figure of inspiration, embodying virtues that strikingly contrast with Ravana's tyranny. As the battle reaches the gates of Lanka, Ravana's anxiety peaks. Despite his formidable powers and the fortifications of this capital, the defections and demoralization among his troops grow. Key figures in this army began to doubt the righteousness of their cause, influenced by the avatar's embodiment of dharma. The final chapters details the dramatic stage of Lanka, where strategies, divine interventions, and heroic combats unfold. The avatar confronts Ravan in a climatic duel that is both spectacular and deeply symbolic. The battle is described with rich imagery and intense action, reflecting not only their personal rivalry but also the larger battle between good and evil. In the end, the avatar trumps with the victory is tempered with a sense of solemnity and responsibility. Ravana's defeat leads to a moment of redemption for him as he realizes his follies and the truth of the cosmic law. The Avatar's victory restores peace and order but also sets the stage for a new era in Jambudesh. One hope to be marked by wisdom, justice, and adherence to Dharma. The book concludes with the Avatar returning to his celestial abode, leaving behind a world that has been profoundly changed by his presence and actions. His legacy is carried forward by his allies and followers, who continue to build on the foundation of peace and justice he established. Overall, the conclusion of the combined avatar resonates with timeless themes, redemption, justice, and the cyclical nature of life and rule, echoing the deep-seated beliefs and cultural narratives of Indian mythology. The author concludes with the divine avatar vanquishing Ravan, thereby restoring peace and justice to Jambudesh. The victory, while decisive, brings about a reflective redemption for Ravana and a reaffirmation of Dharma. As the avatar returns to his celestial realm, his legacy of wisdom and righteousness continues to inspire the inhabitants of Jambudesh, promising a future built on the principles he reinstated. This epic tale waves together mythological depth with themes of moral conflicts and perpetual struggle between good and evil. So I hope you all liked the content and the summary. We try to convey the author's message to all of our viewers. If you like the video, please do comment in the comment section. If you want to read this book in detail, we are providing the Amazon purchasing link in the comment section. You may buy from there as well. So till then, take care, keep reading and keep learning. Bye-bye.